always Irish show. That's right. Welcome in, welcome back, folks, to a Marcus Freeman delivers a Notre Dame State of the Union address edition of the Always Irish show. As always, thanks for being here. You can find that program on YouTube. Do it, subscribe if you haven't yet. If you appreciate the content, if you hate it, don't. But give it a watch, and if you like it, hit subscribe. Give it a thumbs up. That helps as well. Notifications on that way you don't miss nothing. Twitter, search bar Always Irish or at Always Irish Inc. Emails alwaysirishnd@gmail.com. Audio only anywhere you want it. You can get it if you don't want to see my dumb face to start the new year. Nobody blames you. Go to audio only. Notre Dame on S. I read all about it. Article for you every single day. Patreon.com/Always Irish. Taking over the press conference chat. I'm serious, you guys. It means something that whenever Notre Dame on their official channel has a presser, Always Irish people are repping all throughout it. It's a beautiful thing. And if you think about it, it is a way for our group to show a strong presence. Whenever we have one of those pressers, we're all in there and everybody knows everybody. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. The power of that group. Either that or everybody needs to get a job. So many people did my morning show and then move over to the presser. God bless you guys for the flexibility you have. So highly represented the AI nation there in that chat, and that warms my little heart, and people take notice. Some like it, some don't, but people notice. Thank you. All right. So Marcus Freeman speaks. Correct me if I'm wrong. When was the last time we heard from Marcus Freeman? Unless I'm wrong, post-game, last game of the year, Stanford. You've heard from Pete. You've heard a lot of things about Marcus. That's the last time you heard from the guy, okay? And a lot has happened with the playoff, with the bowl game, the NFL rumors, the wrestling situation, altercation. A lot has gone on in a short amount of time. Wonderful time to have this press conference. Really, really good time to do this. To totally stabilize things out. Hear from the man himself. There's been a lot going on and weird stuff. Atypical stuff. It was good to hear from him personally. Okay. Really appreciated the timing on this. Okay. Really good job there. This was needed and a very good stabilizing thing. Next. I've believed this since Marcus Freeman was Brian Kelly's defensive coordinator. Marcus Freeman is the perfect guy to lead this program. The way he delivered all this today through some uncomfortable topics, admittedly, not basic X's and O's, this guy needs surgery, we're going to do football in the spring. There were some sensitive topics Freeman had to deal with today, okay? He's a class act. He's a class act. A genuine class act. He is the perfect guy to lead this program. Old school class, old school demeanor, and Notre Dame class. You know who it reminds me of? That level of class in the head chair? Frankly. Okay? Just the blend of old school class and demeanor, but also having modern new school sensibilities as well. It's the perfect Notre Dame blend. You gotta have that blend to succeed at Notre Dame. There's always going to be an old school family values, old school like feel to this. but you gotta be modern enough and adaptable enough to the modern times to survive. Balancing both of those is hard to do. This guy's the perfect guy for this job. Perfect guy. Doesn't mean everything he does is perfect. It doesn't mean he makes the right decision every time. It doesn't mean that everybody's still not frustrated about you losing the first two games and what happened or didn't happen to get you to there. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm saying the way he presents as the Notre Dame head coach is the perfect blend to be in the modern era. A lot of old school feel to him, right? Like, but able to keep up with the new stuff. Beautiful. And this reaffirmed that. He's a class act. Next. I'm really glad Freeman got to speak about the wrestling confrontation situation. I had some people asking me this morning. I was at the gym between the morning show and his presser, and I'm getting these texts. One of the main things people were texting me is, do you think he's going to address that or like nothing's going to come of it? We don't want to keep it in the media, keep it moving. That question got texted to me multiple times this morning. I am glad that he got to speak about that. We heard from the newspaper. We heard from social media. We heard from podcasters and YouTubers, myself included. He deserved a time to be able to say something he wanted to say about it. Isn't it wild the way that works? The guy in the middle of it is the last guy that gets to say what was going on with it. That has to be immensely frustrating to live with. But that is the cross to bear to have this job. But I was really thinking about it. Everyone has had a say about this except for him. So he deserved a chance to tell his side and how he feels and thinks about it all. Good for him. I also do feel this part of this was the only part that was pretty crafted. I felt like it was obvious Notre Dame helped him craft that messaging to get across what he wanted to say, but not come off a certain way. I felt like I could tell some thought was put into how to approach that, but Marcus made it clear I want to approach that. So good for him. He's the guy involved, the last guy that gets to say what's going on about it and have an opinion about it. So I felt some justice in that he was able to get what he did off his chest. Next. This is the next thing people were texting me. John, I've been through this Notre Dame thing before, right when we're getting all excited about the portal stuff. The Steelers job opens. Is this Marcus Freeman thanking Notre Dame and going to the Steelers? I had multiple people text me that this morning too. And my reaction to that was, if you tweet, run it back for 26, go Irish, then you leave, you think Notre Dame's giving that guy a podium and doing that whole thing? Even if Freeman was like, I want to be classy and say goodbye and thank Notre Dame, you put out a statement on Twitter. You don't go in front of the local media for that. This is different once you say I'm back for 26 than when you didn't. Those are different things. If he did it now, it's different than he did it a week after the Stanford game or something, or after you learned you weren't in the playoff or whatever. Once you commit to being back officially and then do it, that's different. They're not going to let him go out there and make a statement but not take questions and then leave after he said he was. I just don't. Notre Dame wouldn't do that. It would be radio silence, rumors, and then a Twitter post. So I never thought it was going to be that, because that's not how that would go down. I don't know how else you want Freeman to handle the NFL questions. And I actually thought the media did a pretty good job of continuing to hammer that road to try and see what he'll say about, is it just back for 26 or longer? Or what are your plans? Do you have dreams for that? I know people give that media group a hard time. I have not renewed, but I've learned a lot about how that world works from having one foot in the writing side of things at SI. I've learned a lot more about how that world, that beat world operates. It's hard sometimes to walk a line. But I know people are hard on that media. It's just a much harder job than you would think to be able to navigate that world. So I give them a little grace. But on this topic, they kept pushing the NFL. I understood it. And I actually appreciated forcing him to say something about it and going that far, like just back for 26 or longer term. In terms of his answer, I don't know what else you want the guy to say. He's saying what we've been saying. It's a good problem to have. Notre Dame must be winning a lot for everybody to want the head coach or want to talk to him or whatever. The guy's not able to say, I'm going to be here until I pass away in the chair. That's just not a reality. So I don't know what anybody else wanted him to say. I still believe this is a 1 year to 1 year project now. In terms of team composition, if Notre Dame's able to move this hard and this swiftly in the portal now, like year to year team composition and what it looks like, and winning a title and Freeman staying, I think these are all 1 year projects. So I don't know what else he wanted the guy to say. He said, like, you can't expect Freeman to put out a response every time there's a tweet saying an NFL team wants him. But when you don't hear from him, you're like, oh, is something going on? Like, so I get the weirdness. But forever, I've wanted a coach that was this good, that other people wanted, that was that good. Now you got it. And now you don't want people to want him. You got to win the title. You got to win it all while you got this guy. Before things change, you got to win it all. That's the takeaway. While you got him and you're landing top 3 recruiting classes and portal classes like that, you got to win it all. You got to win it all. So I don't know what else you want him to say with the NFL thing, but I knew it wasn't going to be, I'm going to the Steelers today. So, and then regarding the Pop-Tarts opt-out, good for him. You can't backtrack that one, right? Like that came up. Do you still feel the same about the decision to opt out and whatever? You can't really backtrack that. You can't make the statement you made to everyone in the world saying no thanks to a non-CFP game, and then a month later be like, yeah, I don't know. Now I think maybe we should have played in it. You got to double down on that. You can't do that. So he had to double down on that and lean into it. And they're getting ripped on Twitter because the video came out of the discussion to not go. I know people love that reality show. I think it's too much. I'm with Goolsby. Some of these discussions, I don't think the whole country should be seeing. So I know it's good entertainment for Notre Dame people. You want the end. It's too much for my comfort. Some of these discussions should be private between coach and players. Have a little sanctity around here. Little locker room mystique. I shouldn't be seeing everything. So regarding the opt-out, you had to double down on that one. Bonus credit to my new favorite Notre Dame person, the lady none of us heard of that's working with the program to get football players into the school as undergrads. She is every Notre Dame. If you know anything about the history of how Notre Dame's operated, the more of that backstory you know, the more you will appreciate Marcus saying this. We have a lady here who's trying to work with us as a liaison between us and the individual colleges within the university to help figure all this out. I never thought I'd see the day. You know how many hours I've spent thinking about this issue and how Notre Dame's one of the only elite football places where everyone isn't always pulling from the same end of the rope. I've told you guys, I've personally known people involved in the academia side really did not like the football program and the preferential treatment they got, and everybody, they're the big shot on campus. And I know some academic folks around there that were not fans of the football program. Okay. That is a unique challenge each Notre Dame coach has to deal with. Hearing that this lady's working to get stuff done and you got what you've gotten done, that is an underrated big deal. Underrated big deal. Imagine the roster flexibility you have now that you didn't have before by being able to have a few years with these guys. That gives Notre Dame an unbelievable amount of roster flexibility that was unheard of just a year or two ago. That is a huge deal. Cannot be stated enough. All right, here's one maybe we can bag on Notre Dame a little bit for. The USC thing. It was said from the Notre Dame end, we'll play you anywhere, anytime. That was said from our football program. And even Marcus said in the presser, we went from week 12 to week 0, and that didn't work. If I'm a USC person, if I had my same role, but in the USC contingent, number one, I'd probably be way more laid back. Cowabunga, dude. I'd be surfing, me and Chad, going to Hollyweird at night. We did say we'll play you anywhere, anytime. And then Marcus did say they wanted week 0 and it didn't work for us. You could nail Notre Dame for that. You could literally, by the wording, you could nail Notre Dame for that. Bigger picture, though, I do understand. You cannot line this up where Marcus Freeman and Notre Dame go on the road in a huge top 5 matchup to start every year. You can't do that all the time. Once every 3 years, you start with Texas, Michigan, A&M, whatever. And these games have been on the road. Miami on the road, A&M on the road. It would even be different if they were home. But that's a big ask in week 1 of every year to go do that. And I do understand if I was head coach, I may be a little frustrated. I'm not saying not to do it, but it can't be every damn year you're in a top 5 matchup on the road to start every year. That's not a recipe for success. So I get it. But if I was doing me and I had a USC channel, I'm doing a video right now saying Marcus Freeman admits Notre Dame went back on the word. Anytime, any place. Now he's saying we won't do it week 0 at your place. So if I'm being fair, you could go after Notre Dame for that. But I understand the position of Notre Dame. You can't keep doing this every single year. Oh, John, Notre Dame, typical, you're scared of competition. You just can't do it every year and on the road and have those type of games. That's a big ask. And then you risk getting off to a bad start in August. Regarding the portal, fantastic job. Like if you land Tion Gray, the Oregon DT, crystal ball to Notre Dame before I recorded this. If you land that Sasquatch from the Oregon wilderness of the mountains, 6'6", 330, give me the beef. Johnny wants the beef. Give me the beef. I want the big boy. I want the big boy. 6'6", 330, try and move me. You ain't going to do it. Tion ain't got to run like Dion. Just mess everything up in the middle. If you're able to land that guy on top of what Notre Dame's already done in the portal, it's an A+. If you add Gray to this, it's an A+ portal. And I am a stiff grader because I have high expectations for this program that have not been met for the longest time, most of my life. It's an A+. If they land him, it's an A+. You couldn't possibly have upgraded wide receiver anymore. Your secondary is already good, and you're adding more youth and depth there and athleticism. D-line, you get an athlete like Keeley on the edge, and then if you get this this Oregon wilderness, just behemoth to just mess everything up in the middle, it's an A+. Throw me in a kicker coming over from Purdue, it's an A+. You could check all the boxes of everything you really needed. You could argue kicking the tires on a running back, seeing if you could hit a home run there, if there was a guy interested. You could argue what's Notre Dame's backup quarterback situation going to be like with Minchie leaving to go start somewhere. You could go down that road, but as of your primary needs, A+. If you land Gray, that Brew-Woo's Brew-Woo, but he ain't 330. I need the one thing lacking was a guy like that for Notre Dame in this portal. If you land him, it's an A+. It's a 10 out of 10. Check all the boxes. The fact that most of them have more than 1 year, double check the boxes. The fact that many of them were 4 or 5 star, double, triple check the box. It's an A+. But I want Gray's body in there. I want that beef. We got the meats. I need the beef. If you give me that, A+. Without it, A, but A+ if you can add a guy like that. And you got the crystal ball, and I heard a rumor he didn't have any other visits scheduled. Land that guy, I give you an A+. So I feel much better now. I thought perfect timing on having Freeman be able to talk on many different things. Everything about this was atypical. You had the fallout from the CFP, the fallout from the bowl game stuff, the NFL stuff, all the portal action, and the wrestling confrontation. That is a lot of football drama that's outside the norm of football drama. Almost all those items are outside the normal range of what we consider typical football drama. It was good to have that guy stabilize things. You could hear from him. He could verify some things for you. Very stabilizing. Finish off the portal class strong. And we just gear up for spring ball. And the expectation needs to be title or bust in 26. The program is at that level. 247 Sports says, when you combine the recruiting and the portal, Notre Dame's number one. That's not Johnny in his basement's calculation. 247 said that. It's time. It's title or bust in the Freeman era every year from now out. That's it. That's what this is. And that is a high bar to clear. It's the ultimate bar to clear. And it was hard to get here to where that bar is realistic. That's where we're at. What did I miss? What do you disagree with? What do you guys think? See ya.